Alright, cool. First off, sorry, the mic is going to be buzzing in the background the whole time. I need to get a new one. I'm just going to do this really quick to show you how to tempo map. So first I'm going to put your audio in that you sent me. Boom. And you can see it lines up perfectly with the audio in the game. And this is the problem. You can't have all these like little slivers. There's like 112 different audio pieces. So much easier to just have it all as one. But it lines up the same. I'm going to turn off recording. Oops, I'm going to turn that on just to see how it lines up. So when we go into this, I like to keep mine up by the top so I can just quickly jump back and forth. I can see it's already lined up wrong right off the bat. That noise should be coming in like right at the beginning, and like you can hear it on the snare hits also. It's like that snare hit should be lined up with this grid. And also I'm going to show you how to change your time in, because you have a hi-hat count in I can see here, but it's not actually the right time, because when you see here up here your song tempo is around 104, 100 BPM, whatever. But your count in is 120, which is the default. So you're like going 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then starting to play at a completely different. Actually, I can just show you right here with this thing. The metronome is really useful for that. So your count in doesn't line up. Yeah, it changes tempo, so there's no point in counting in if you're going to change the tempo. So I can change that really easy, and I'm going to show you how right now. So I'm going to turn that on. First, zoom out. Also, I don't know if you know this, I hope you know, I'm holding Alt right now, and then I click on this little arrow up here, and that's how I get the loop of sound to play, and that's how you zoom way in, and you get really perfect with your timing of the measures. So you should definitely be using this if you're not. And there's certain settings you can use for it. I'm not sure if you've done this before. Loop, MIDI devices, playback. Playback. These are the settings you need to be using. It's down here. Loop segment mode. This is so important to customs, for me anyways, because when you hold Alt and click up here, you do this. You can really see where like each kick begins and each of the spikes are. So anyways, real quick, this is how you do a tempo map without deleting all the notes that you've charted already. I don't know why you have markers either. It's probably the hotkey you're using, but I use Q. So first of all, I'm going to click up here, select everything, and right click and remove all these markers because I don't need them at all. Then I'm gonna right click right here, drag a box around every single one, including this first one, it doesn't matter, and then just hit delete. And you can see everything snaps back to the original 120 BPM of your song. So what you would want to do at this point to re-tempo map it, here's what I do at every one. So obviously this one right here this is the default, but you need to set this to the BPM of the song so you can get your count in right. So here's how to do that. You basically make sure snap is on. Go to like the third measure or something. It's 4 seconds in. That seems about right. I like to start the song at about 4 or 5 or afterwards, because any sooner than that, then people aren't ready to play the song and it's like just starting right away. So yeah, I hit Q right here and it makes a measure. I'm going to do that again so you can see it a little easier. So no matter where you are, you just hit Q and it does a measure. And I'll show you, let me see here, do I have, 1 second, oh wait, oh here it is, create measure from time selection, it's Control Q. I think this is what Q automatically does. It sets the project tempo from the time selection, and it automatically detects the tempo and it makes it. I'm not sure if that's like a C3 setting or whatever, but that's just something that it is. So anyways, so that's irrelevant. So you have to make your first marker here, just so you have this, first little dot to go off of. It says 120. Don't worry about it. So this is what I always do for the first measure of every song. Well, first of all, I'm going to shorten this shit up so I can line it up. So first, make a mark at, like, let's say third measure, okay? And now we want our first bass hit to start right here, right on this little point. So I'm gonna turn this off, the snap off. Find right where that first hit is, and that's because that's where you want that first orange note. So I'm gonna do this. I'd say right about there. You could possibly go a little earlier, but right about here seems to be where the kick drum is starting to come in. So this is kind of not the best way, but this works well enough. Click right there. You can zoom in more if you wanted to. That's why I always make the track super big so I can see the wave. You can zoom way in. But yeah, basically click right here, and you want to line that up. I'm clicking, dragging, and I just want to line my mouse up with the beginning of this. So that's how you align that first thing. So once that's there, you should almost, actually no, I'm not going to say that yet, because okay, that's step one. So yeah, so now we have this, well, starts right here, beginning of the song right here, starts on measure 3, and then let it play one measure and figure that out. So here we go. 1. So this is your 1 again. So I'm going to hold Alt and find that kick drum again. I'm doing it really slowly just to show you like how it is. I'm not sure how new you are to this, but yeah, I don't always go as accurate, but you should be getting pretty accurate as that, and kind of take your time with the tempo map, because if it's off, it kind of ruins the game for people. So yeah, once that's there, select up here, boom, select your first measure. You can see that's 120 right there, but ours is a little bit slower, it takes longer. So go here, options, right, oh no, I'm sorry, right click. I made this Control Q, I think that's a custom setting, but I don't know what the original hotkey is. I don't think it has a hotkey, but yeah, I use Control Q for this. For the very first one, create a measure from the time selection, boom, and it's 4/4, and that tells you right here, the tempo is 102.217 for the first measure. So rather than just set that in, I'm just going to copy it, because when I hit OK, you can see now we have a new measure, and the rest of the song is set to that tempo, even though it's going to change for every measure. But it doesn't matter, because now I need to delete that anyways, because what we're going to do is change this one right here, edit time signature, and we're going to paste 102. But we can't do that yet, because if you edit this one without changing the ones after it, your whole tempo map is permanently screwed up. So I'm going to right click again on this master track, delete all of the tempo markers, go back to the beginning with W, and then yeah, edit this one and change that. So now the entire project, and also I like to, just for good practice, come up here, go to project settings, and also change the project BPM right here to this. And now is the time to do it when you have a clear tempo map. This is so that if you end up wanting to go back and add more time, like doing the insert like blank empty space or whatever, to add more time to the count in or take it away, that the tempo of the project is already lined up with the first marker. If this and this don't line up, it's not going to work. All of your notes will be wrong, and it's unplayable. So changing your actual project to the right tempo really helps, but only when you're inserting space. So yeah, so now the project is the right tempo. So now I'm just going to kind of get rid of this one, because this is your audio, but it's not coming in because I don't have your file. So yeah, so now that's okay, and we go to the third measure like we normally do. It's 4.6 seconds in. That's a good time. So now we're going to do the same thing again. It's kind of redundant, but this is now we can tempo map the whole song. So I'm going to the third. I'm hitting Q, which you can see just makes a thing here. And we're going to do that again. We're going to line up the first. You got to turn off snap for this, obviously, make it accurate. Get it as close as you can. And then listen. And actually what's really good, it's really nice actually, you have the drums charted already. So that means I can just look at what you have. Oh, it's not lined up though. Oh, duh. Okay, never mind. We're not doing that yet. Got ahead of myself. So yeah, that's there. That needs to come way over here. I didn't realize it was off by so much. Right? Yeah, okay. Do-do-do. Seems like this is where I want it to start, just about here, so doesn't really matter to be hyper accurate, but I like to get close. Okay, so that's there, and even though we already figured out it's about 102, we're still gonna count out the first measure, because right there, me moving this track affected the BPM. Like, it's off now, so we still need to go in every single measure, count, make sure our snap is on. And from here on out, I don't think we ever turn this thing off. I almost always have it on, except for when I'm adjusting this audio track in the beginning. So yeah, so now we count the first measure. So let's go. 3, 4, 1. So it's obviously pretty close, but yeah, I could just like leave it the way it is, but I like to be, you know, accurate and put it where, you know, it's like giving it a hand touch. So what I'm doing here, I'm gonna hit Q, which when I hit Q, like I said, it's going to automatically detect the tempo between the last marker and where this time thing is. If you go too far ahead, it won't work. Like if you set it way out here, it's just gonna do that. But if you put it back to where we had it, oh shit, and I can't now, I guess. Okay, cool. So let me find it again. But if I leave it here, within about a tempo, within about one measures range, it'll automatically adjust it. So I hit Q, and you can see this changed a little bit. Now it's 102.25, whatever. So let's go carry on. Turn the volume down here. 2, 3, 1. Okay, so it sounds like that's another one. She's gonna turn this back up. So yeah, you can see that it's a little bit short here, and that is all the difference in the world when you're playing Rock Band. Like when you're, you know, that stuff starts to stack up. So I'm gonna hit Q again, and you can see, watch this number right here. It changes just slightly, and that's how it goes. It's always gonna change. It's gonna go up and down a couple BPM. But yeah, so do this for the whole song, which you already know how to do. But you can see when I hit Q, I'm making new tempo regions, but I'm not creating those red markers, and I'm more importantly not chopping up my audio, because this way I can never move the whole audio thing unless I had to select the entire row, which is kind of annoying and unnecessary. So yeah, this keeps all my audio in place. So yeah, that way. So yeah, what's nice about this is now you can go in here into your drums, and you've already charted the drums, right? So you know where all the notes should be. So let's carry on here. This is the measure here, and I'm usually going to be looking for the kick drum. It's almost always the first note of every measure. But yeah, here we go. See, now you can see that this bass drum, this bass pedal here, is hitting right where it should be. It should always be lined up, especially for the drummer. Like they're keeping the rhythm of the whole song. They really want to be hitting on these clean lines. They don't want to be trying to basically guess like this. They don't want to be guessing at where the tempo is. The whole point of having these grid lines is having the tempo mapped out. So yeah, so now you do this. I'll do one more measure for you and show you what you would do to edit it. It's really easy. Like that's obviously the beginning of the thing. So we're gonna count 4, and actually I don't even have to like let it play. I can tell obviously it's gonna be right about here. You're gonna be looking for a kick drum. See, hear it hitting right there. So I'm gonna hit, go right here, hit Q. There we go. So now you can see it's automatically lining that stuff up. So what I would do to fix it, super easy. Right click right here, drag a box around everything except that first note seems to be lined up. Select everything. So you can do this with everything that's misaligned. Drag everything and just line it up. And now you can see the huge difference. Let me show you the difference here. This is what you had. And now this is what we have. Yep, so that's pretty good, and you can do that for the entire section that's off, which seems to be everything up until the chorus. Yeah, the pre-chorus. So right when the pre-chorus hits, it somehow, evens out. But yeah, there you go. Just re-tempo the whole thing. And what's good about that is that all your notes here will save. You're just gonna have to adjust the drums a little bit, but the guitars and the bass will be perfectly fine. They were charted, pretty much correctly on tempo, unless they're off, in which, you can always go back and change it. Doesn't take that long. You already did most of the work. And then, yeah, when you do that, just send me the file back. I could do this myself, but I think it's really useful for you to learn to do it yourself. And, yeah, because then all your other customs will be really good. So, yeah, let me know when you get that done. Shouldn't take you very long. Send it back to me, and then I will gladly chart the vocals. And yeah, let me know if you want me to make another one of these videos. I could do a real quick one showing you how I like to chart my vocals. I got like all my own methods here, but just from doing it for a while. But yeah, and this is the scale box I was talking about earlier. So yep, this is how you become good at charting vocals. Yeah, but we can get into that later if you want me to. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you figure that out soon. Let me know, man. Peace.